Okay, here we are on the launch pad, sticking with our routine of the crew rotation. Bob Kerman is up. And this flight will not be testing the solid booster, because if I ignite that booster at this altitude, the ship will go much higher than I want it to. I just want to nicely pass 22,000 kilometers, or meters, excuse me. So I've gone with a ship that is basically 3 of these procedural tanks stretched out to maximum size, and 1 LVT-30. 3 parachutes on the tank structure for recovery there if I have to separate the capsule, which I'm hoping to not do, just to be that way. I've also stripped off everything, the goo containment units. I stripped off the antenna and everything. It was necessary in order to bring the cost vessel down. It was at first costing like 9 or 10,000, and this one, if I will see, vessel cost 3,972, so that's a lot better. So just go ahead, throttle us up, and let's go. And go for 22,000 meters. I shouldn't need much except in the way of steering, except to just keep going straight. Our TWR is pretty good on liftoff, and of course as we burn fuel it's climbing. Just need to watch the apoapsis when it passes 22,000. Cut the engine. Alright, looks like we're going to not have any problem reaching this one. Now we just coast up to that altitude. Apoapsis is coming down, so we'll use a little bit of engine to keep the apoapsis up around 22,000. Go away. Minimal engine here. Okay, we have achieved our altitude record. We no longer need to thrust upwards at all. So now it should just be a standard drop everything down. I'm going to put the parachutes in their own stage. And we'll accelerate time until we actually get down. Parachute deployment, just almost a little bit too late, and we're coming down what looks like right on top of the VAB. I certainly hope we don't blow it up. I mean, yeah, that would be funny, but it would also be expensive. Funding is at 10,000 now. I hope to do a complete funding recovery on the whole ship. Okay, we're going to land in front of the VAB. What's our velocity? 7.9. Oh boy. Turn on the SAS now. Oh, well, we lost the engine. Okay. Not as expensive as it could have been. Let us recover. Okay, no science on this. But we got funding returned. We're up to 13,000 funds. All right. Yeah. Not much I'm going to do here. I need to get these two nodes unlocked. Altitude record of 33 kilometers is next. I'm thinking perhaps this same ship can do it. LVT-45 in flight. What is our requirements? Ignite between 3,900 and 9,500. I think we can do that one. Yeah. Alright. I'll get that designed and we'll be right back. Alright, here we are with the creatively named Altitude 33K. Named so because that's where it's going. And I'm going to be able to actually test the LVT-45 under the conditions it wants. I have to fire it between 3,900 and 9,500 meters altitude, going between 210 and 610 meters per second. The solid booster, I'm saving that one for another flight. We'll get the altitude record of 3,300, and that should be not a problem. Because we had the funds for it, and because we're going to be much higher altitude, I've got the goo containers on here. I also put the Science Junior on here. The goo containers, each one are on a different action group, and this is on a third action group. And I've got a couple of procedural SRBs on here. I've turned the solid fuel down to half, and the thrust is be down low. It's gonna be just enough to help this stage without blasting it too high, and make sure absolutely that the rest of this has enough juice to get up to 33K. So without further ado or yapping, let's turn on the SAS and throttle up and go. Alright, very nice. We're going to get around. Okay, SRB's burning out. Good. SRBs are done. As soon as we get above 3,900, actually we've got until 9,500. Okay, we're good. Just stage that. Did I wait too long for staging? Okay. I waited too long for staging to fire that engine. Blast it all. Alright, we'll get our... Actually, what am I bothering to pitch over with for? We want to come down close to the Space Center. We'll just watch our apoapsis. Get it to about 35K and shut down. While we're coasting, we'll grab a crew report, and we'll go ahead and transmit that, and then we'll activate the goo container. We'll keep that. We'll activate the other goo container, grab that, and of course the science bay. 12.3 science, yes, we definitely want to recover that. Alright, we are at least, we got our altitude record. Alright, our next flight, I do believe we will be going for probably atmospheric escape. And I did put extra parachutes on this thing because the crash tolerance on this thing, it can only stand to impact at 6 meters per second or less. check the stage recovery. First stage has been recovered. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to hazard that this, first stage recovered, the previous stage recovered very nicely. It's down there standing upright. That is awesome. And we are going slow enough for this one to land safely right next to it. Not bad. Not bad if I do say so myself. We got 18.3 science for a total of 33. 5,000 in recovery. We got up to 24,000 funds. We got our pilot back. And if we look somewhere. Okay. Let's take a look in the VAB in the... No, nothing there. Wait a minute. Turn the debris on. New. Okay, it must have been recovered. Well, it has to have been recovered. It's not sitting out there anymore. All right, R&D. I'm going to go ahead and grab this just to get the radial decoupler and the aerodynamic nose cone. I don't particularly care for that winglet. It's not steerable. It doesn't really do a whole lot as far as I understand. Okay. And this will be the next node we unlock. Alright. Let's get in here. The next altitude record is 5,600. Okay, I was wrong. Escape is not next. 5,600 is next. Okay, that means we can probably test this solid fuel booster this time and the LVT-45. I will get to designing and we'll get on with that. Alrighty. Here we are. Our next pilot in the rotation, Aldous Kerman, is in the seat here this time, and we have a most unlikely looking ship. Now what I've got here is the same procedural tank and LVT-30 at the bottom here. 3 of the procedural SRBs, and up here is the LVT-45 and a fuel tank for it, and above that we have the solid booster, which we should not have a problem testing as well. Let's see, let's stretch this out. Alright, between 3,900 and 9,500 meters altitude, going between 210 and 610 meters per second. Alright, let's get some flight stats here, and let's see if we can do this. I think we can. The main thing is an altitude record of 56K, but let's go for it. I think we've got no problems here. We're achieving the speed we need. We're almost to the altitude we need. Okay, we're in the altitude range. We're in the speed range. We just need the SRBs to shut down. Shutting down the liquid engine, so go. Alright, T-45 test is successful. Continuing. Now we need 15,800 to fire the solid booster. Looking good so far. Apoapsis is right now passing the target altitude. And so now is the ship. Shut down and stage. Alright, both tests successful. Now we are going for 56,000 meters altitude. Alright, this is good. This is excellent. And there's plenty of parachutes on the prior stages, so we should not have any problem recovering everything. Apoapsis is 80 kilometers. I didn't pay attention. Oh, not that I could have done very much. Alright, let's go ahead and stage that away. It has parachutes, it should recover, but the solid boosters they're cheap anyway, so we're good there. Alright, let's turn that off and get it out of the way. Let's get our goo reports. Okay, let's wait just a little bit for the goo report. What do we got from the material bay? We'll wait on that one too. Apparently we're going to pass 70 kilometers, so we can get reports from space. Which means we don't get the contract for leaving the atmosphere because I went a little too far. But not a problem. Alright, we'll take that. That's 17 science. And let's do our goo reports. And it's another 7 science. Another goo report. That's 7 more. Let's do an EVA. Just above in space, just above Kerwin's water. Okay, 5.6 science. Get back on board. And crew report. We'll go ahead and transmit that. Funding is going to be much better next time. Good. Now, this was a rather vertical flight, but that's fine. And our next time up, we can probably get into an orbital situation. I have to admit, I am rather hoping that re-entry does not pose a problem with our situation here. But if need be, there is an LV909 that we can use for braking. But of course, we're not traveling at orbital velocities by any stretch of the imagination. We're pretty much falling straight down. And I'm going to look at our surface thing here. Go ahead and work on canceling out horizontal velocity now. So we only have to think about going straight down. The big idea being to arrive at the ground, recover the ship and as much fuel as we can, although that's expendable. And most importantly, to recover the science. Wasn't paying attention. don't suppose it's going to matter. I just want to slow us down enough now to open the parachutes, which I am going to move into their own stage. All right, this is looking good. Okay, from here we can deploy the chutes. Yeah. All parachutes deployed. And inflated, and we will be touching down slow enough to not have a problem. Excellent. We get to keep all that science. All right, we've got 63 science now, and recovered 7,800 funds from parts. And we got our guy back. Our reputation's up to 374. Let's see what we can get in R&D now. 63 science. Okay, let's open this up right now. And out of that, the T45, so that we've got it for real now. The Separtron. The Wildcat. And the Vesta. Alright, what else we got science-wise? We got 43 science remaining. Okay. Got a radial decoupler here too, don't we? We already picked that up. Okay. Round pylon. Okay. Alright, let's grab this one. Not enough science. Oh. Okay, we'll get it next time. Alright, here we are. We have a new ship creatively named Orbiter 1 because that's its mission, to achieve orbit around Kerbin, because that's one of the contracts I picked up for this time around. I also have a contract to test the TT-38K radial decoupler while orbiting Kerbin, and so I've got that on there. We also have the small gear bay that we need to test while orbiting Kerbin. So what I've got it rigged up for is to test the small gear bay and then use the radial decoupler to jettison it once in orbit. I've got the procedural heat shield on here, and I've stretched it out to its maximum size so that it actually goes a little bit bigger than the stage above it in diameter, which that combined with deflection of air around it and whatnot should do an excellent job of protecting the mystery goo units and the science bay capsule, and most importantly the parachutes up top. So we're good there. Let's see. I've got it's very largely similar to the previous ship of the procedural SRBs have been made just a little bit more powerful, and the solid fuel booster here has been reset to its full power. Okay, as a matter of fact, that reminds me, I actually need to make an entry purchase to use that, so we'll spend $3,000 on that. Alright, now our ship will be costing $23,000 to launch. We have $54,000, and when we complete these missions, oh yes, that's right, the launch stability enhancers, we'll be testing those at launch. Okay, get all these done. I do believe that that will make for a very profitable flight. So, let's see, checking my rotation. Aldous Kerman is next in the crew rotation. So we'll kick Jeb out of there and we'll put Aldous in. And what I'm going to do for hiring, when I get to the bottom of the list, I will go to the crew facility and see if there's anybody there that I want to hire. They will get added to the end, and then we'll go to the top, start over again. So, let's head to the launch pad. Alrighty, this is looking a little bit precarious, but I'm confident that it will be good. Get my flight stats up here because I really like having that flight stats. That information is worth a lot, let me tell you. Alright, so let's just go ahead and throttle up to max and go. And yes, I know there is a key function to throttle up to max, but frankly, I have forgotten what it is. I'll have to go into the key mapping and do something about that. Alright, we have fulfilled one contract already. Let's keep our resource information visible. Good, nice, clean climb. SRBs will burn out shortly before the liquid engine in the center. We'll jettison them when they do. There we go. Just about time. And they're gone. We're losing velocity a little bit, but I don't consider that to be a big problem. We'll go ahead and burn out the last of this stage, begin our pitch, and now we'll pitch a little more, not too much at a time. We want to stay fairly close to the prograde marker, but we want to drag that prograde marker over to the east. Fortunately, that solid booster in the middle of this thing actually does have a slight bit of gimbal range, which makes it steerable. The RT-10, however, does not have gimbal range at all. If I remember correctly. I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong. Watch the apoapsis pitch accordingly. Our inclination's going down, that's good. Pitching over. We're at 70, we need to be horizontal. Get as much of this thrust as we can. Oh, camera free mode. I need to put that on my checklist for launch. Alright, very good. We are well on our way to orbit. In fact, shut down engines, flip over here, close this off, and let's plan an orbit entry burn right away. Set that to apoapsis. We want periapsis of about 73 kilometers or so. 70, yeah. That'll do. That's good right there.
Alright. It's a 2-minute 24-second burn, which means we have to burn at 1 minute and 12. So we're coming right up on that. We're all lined up and ready to go. Go. I was a couple of seconds late, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. Let's get our flight stats back. We want periapsis 73 or 74, right around in there. That will give us the altitude range that we need for testing these components. This will also be the first deadly re-entry that I've done. So let us hope that the heat shield works as I'm anticipating it does. Alright, we're looking good. We're on target. We've got more than enough fuel to do this, and still have plenty more than enough fuel for a re-entry burn. Yeah. Looking good. Looks like we're going to make $1 or $6 on this flight. Throttling back some more. We're almost there. "75 kilometers, that'll be fine." All right. We're up to 81,313 funds. All right, that test is complete. Stretch this out a bit. Orbit is achieved. We've earned money for that. All right, let's go ahead and get rid of that. All right. Now, as we come around towards periapsis, we will find ourselves within the altitude range to test the gear bay and then the radial decoupler. Note, we have to do them in that order, or we have a problem. So if we test the radial decoupler first, the gear bays are attached to the decouplers. Yeah.